Hello, Toy Collector fans. Universal Toy Collector here, and welcome to the channel. Join me and my guests for the Toy Photographers Showcase. Okay, then, so welcome to Toy Photographers Showcase. This is a video where I'm going to be joined by 4 guests. Each of them do toy photography, different styles of toy photography, which is great. All very talented at that. So let me bring on my first guest, and you would have known him from episode 3 of My Collecting Life. That is Mark Boba Hicks Lennon. How are you, sir?
How's it going, Stu? Good to see you.
All good. Yeah, nice to see you again, my friend. It's been a while, so really glad you could join us on this video. So thank you very much. Awesome stuff.
Happy to be back.
Awesome, thank you. Next up, we have Josh Bellinger, and he was on episode 38 of My Collecting Life. Hello, Josh.
Hello, Stu.
Awesome to see you again, and I am loving that top, by the way. That is a really bright top. I'm liking that. Awesome stuff. Good stuff. You been keeping well?
Yes. How about yourself?
Yes, a little bit warm, but I'm not complaining. I do like the warm weather, so can't grumble at that. Next up, we have Nacho, and he was on episode 46 of My Collecting Life. Hello, Nacho. How are you, sir?
Hey, Stu. How are you? Good.
Not too bad, thank you. Thank you for joining me. It's awesome to see you again. Really cool to speak to you again. And our last guest, but no means least, is new to the channel, and it is Nate Dinger. Hello, Nate. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you? How are you doing this afternoon?
Not too bad. Yeah, really good to speak to you. It's good to speak to all of you. Like I said, you've each chosen 5 photos that you've taken, which I'm liking all of your photos. I think they're fantastic. Your toy photography. I've got 4 questions for you regarding your artwork or your photos, should I say? So yeah. So feel free to make comments as well if you guys want to interact with each other. More than welcome. So they're in no particular order, as in your preferences. So I've numbered them like Mark 1, Josh 1, and so forth, all the way through to your 5th photograph. So shall we start? And first up, we have Mark. So, Mark, what was your thought process or inspiration for this photo?
Right. So I was watching a lot of Walking Dead at the time when the show was still popular and generally regarded as good. So these figures, these are 6-inch scale figures that were put out by McFarlane, I think, back in 2016, 2017. Now, they're essentially action figures. There's very little articulation in them, like a little bit of head and arm movement, but that's it.
Yeah.
But they look really good. The sculpts are really realistic. So essentially for this photo, just woke up one morning, it was really foggy outside, and there was just a real kind of mist in the air, just a kind of eerie kind of feeling. Essentially stuck the figure on top of the post of my fence right in front of the tree that's kind of growing in the field at the back, and it just kind of had that atmosphere, and I think because the detail on the figures is so good, like they're sculpted so well, I just thought it just came across like quite realistic, and it scaled well with the tree and everything in the background. It just kind of all came together, and it was just one of those things. It was just a bit of a freak weather occurrence. Like if it hadn't looked all misty and foggy, I probably wouldn't have gotten that kind of look that I got going on. But that was it. And I always just kind of liked it as a picture, because even though I used to watch the show, I didn't really keep up with it. I just kind of got tired of it. But that was definitely taken at a period of time where I was a big Walking Dead fan.
It does. It looks very atmospheric, and I do like that. I think that looks really cool. I mean, I know you personally, you do a lot of your photography outside, so I think that's really cool. So how long did the whole process take from start to finish, or was it quite a quick process, or did it take a bit of time?
This one was relatively quick because I was conscious of the fact that the fog was starting to lift and I was kind of losing that kind of atmosphere. But in terms of a pose and all that, because the figure is pre-posed, there's nothing really I can do with it in terms of, setup or anything. They also, those figures, they come with a stand, which is, I've obviously cut out of the shot. So essentially it was just a matter of getting her down, getting her in front, and just getting the right angle where I was still able to pick up enough detail and, image of her, or, facially and all that. But it was a fluke in many ways that it turned out so well. But there you go.
No, like I say, I think it looks absolutely. I love it. I think it looks great. Is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo, or are you happy with how it's turned out and how it is at the moment?
For this one, I would say I'm pretty happy because, ultimately it was a kind of it was a spontaneous type of picture, but let me put it that way. Say, oftentimes when I'm doing my photography, I usually have a bit of time set aside and I have a few ideas of what I want to do. This was just one of those things that kind of came out of nowhere and was from the moment I kind of thought about doing it to the time it was done, the whole thing was probably 15, 20 minutes. So it was just one of those things. So in that sense, no, I wouldn't really change anything about it because it was kind of a surprise hit in the first place.
Awesome. So what is it then about this photo that stands out for you to make it be part of your own top 5 personal favorites?
For me, it's probably the realism, and to be fair, a lot of that is the figure itself. Like if that, it doesn't really look like a toy necessarily. Let's be honest. It's because there's no joint cuts or anything like that. It looks like a little person essentially. So I think it really just adds to the overall realism of it. Whereas say a lot of the stuff, or a good bit of the other pictures that I do, you'd know it was a toy, or you'd know it was something a bit too fantastical to actually be real. Whereas this, I've had a few people comment on this and say that they thought it was an actual still from the show and stuff like that. So when you hear or read somebody mentioning something like that in one of your pictures, it kind of sticks with you. So that's why it kind of stuck out for me as one of my favorites.
It took my brain a couple of seconds to realize that was not a person.
Yeah, I get that. It does look absolutely fantastic. I'm really, that's a great start. Anybody else got anything to ask Mark about that one, or are we all good? All good. Okay, Josh, then, sir, let's head over to your first one. So here we go. Again, another fantastic looking picture. I'm really liking that. So, Josh, what was your thought process or inspiration for this photo?
Well, I started off with I got the quarter scale Hot Toys Grogu, and I didn't know, I wanted to photograph him. I didn't know what I was going to do with him. And this scene just kind of popped into my head. So really the only real thing in the photo is Grogu, and the rest of it I shopped.
Okay. Wow. I would not have thought that. That is wow. That is pretty cool. I actually thought for a moment that he was outside there. That is awesome. So how long did this process take, Josh?
It took, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes.
Wow. Awesome. So everything in there apart from Grogu is Photoshop then? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. I just took him on a blank white poster board and angled everything, tried to get everything angled and shadowed right. And I found that butterfly Google image search and just glowed him up.
So how did you manage to glow him up then? Because I have absolutely no idea on how to do any of this kind of stuff.
I use a program where I can lighten or darken areas with like a paintbrush, and I just brightened it to the max And yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
And I did the same thing with the grass. The stock grass that I used was a daylight scene. And so I darkened everything that I didn't want to be lit up.
That looks so effective. I'm really
very
liking
real.
that.
Very real.
Yeah, I did think it was outside. That's absolutely amazing. Josh, is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo?
I don't think so. I kind of like how it is. You know, this is one of those ones where it turned out exactly the way I was picturing it. They don't always do that. But this one really, I kept going back and looking at it after I finished it, just to make sure there was nothing that I wanted to be different. I really like how this one turned out.
Awesome. So what is it about this photo then, Josh, that stands out for you to be in your top 5 personal favorites?
Well, for one thing, that figure I absolutely love. That quarter scale Grogu. I mean, he's as realistic as real can be. Posable and different faces and ears that you can create. The only problem is he is so large. It's hard to get a good angle on him that you're not showing a accidental behind the scenes. I absolutely love the figure.
Yeah, it is a quality figure. We managed to get that for my wife. She likes Grogu, but I've got to say I'm really impressed with that, Josh. I just think it looks absolutely fantastic. I didn't realize it was photoshopped. I thought it was actually outside. And B, that Grogu again, it looks like taken from the series itself. So absolutely tremendous, really good stuff. Fantastic. Anybody else got any questions to ask Josh on that one?
I definitely like to echo what you were saying, Stu. I wouldn't have realized it was like all photoshopped. I assumed you must have taken your Grogu out into the garden and then kind of went from there. So no, like definitely fair play for getting that, and it's a beautiful looking piece as well. That Grogu, like it's so realistic. It could be a shot from the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome stuff, Josh. Awesome stuff. Right, okay, so we'll move on to Nacho, and this is your first one. So here we have a bit of mask. So, Nacho, what was your thought process and inspiration for this photo, sir?
Yeah, so I am on Josh's team at like I do most of the photos with like Photoshop. It's not Photoshop, but all the pictures are Photoshopped.
Yeah.
So what I can tell you here is that I like a lot the mask, as said before, and I didn't have too much pictures. If you see my Instagram account, it's almost most about Star Wars and maybe other stuff mixed, but 60-70% of Star Wars. So I wanted to do something with my mask toys, and I like a lot this playset of the Boulder Hill that is behind. So I don't have the playset actually. So this is a playset that I took from a picture.
Oh wow!
And I have the car, of course. This is the Jack Hammer, and I have these two figures that are Skyrax and Cliff Dagger. And what I did is I took the picture as it is for the car. I usually have a good Photoshop program that I don't need to put a green screen or a white screen. If the background is quite homogeneous, you can take the picture and then it cut all the edges very nicely. Then of course there are a lot of effects that you can do, but so I took the picture from Boulder Hill from a website from the toy set, and I put the picture of myself above. The ground is the same. The ground that you see like a terrain ground is from a picture from a website.
Oh,
okay.
And then I put the smoke that you see like behind the card is also an effect from a picture. So I photoshopped everything, and of course the I don't know how to say it in English, but the shotguns, the effect of the fire in the shotguns.
Yeah.
So also it's an effect, of course, and I added there.
That's incredible.
The result look nice.
sorry, I was going to say you took parts of different photos, so about 3 or 4 different pictures that you've taken images
the
from.
real one
and
from my
put it all
collection
together.
is the real one.
Is the car. Wow, that's incredible. How long did that process take you? Because I mean, surely that must take a bit of time to get all those images and cut around them and stuff like that.
So yeah, it can take maybe this type of pictures that have like 10 pictures in one mixed. Maybe it takes like 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. It depends on the time. Yeah.
Wow.
Usually I try to do this stuff when I sat at night before I go to bed, like when I am at bed, because I do it in my phone. So yeah, maybe I use that time too before I go to sleep.
That's incredible.
But yeah, it's around 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, this type of picture.
That's incredible. And I can't believe you do it with your phone as well. That's just wowzers. Nacho, is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo, or are you happy with how it is?
Honestly, I think I'm very happy. I would like to have the Boulder Hill playset for myself. So I hope that I will have it soon. But yeah, that's what I will change. Not from the picture, but I would like to have it.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I think I'm very happy with this one.
Awesome. What is it about this photo then, Nacho, that stands out for you to be in your top 5 personal favorites?
Yeah. Honestly, maybe as I said before we entered to the call, like maybe I have a lot of pictures from Star Wars that I like more, but I have to decide what were the top 5. But I like to have the only one, or I have 1 or 2 from Mask, and this is one of them. And I like very nice the collection, so I want it to be represented. And I think that it's a quite like action scene. It's not like a static picture. No, it's like it looks dynamic. So I like it because
I get that. Yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome. Anybody else?
I think it's a fantastic picture. It actually reminds me of looking at the catalog of Mask toys. You know, when you get the actual polished catalog of what toy, it's almost like a product like shot, as if Kenner had actually decided this is how we're going to advertise the toy. I think it's really well. You could have told me that was your own Boulder Hill playset, and I would not have known that was a picture. Like it's really well done. Yeah, you did a great job there.
Very good compliment. Thank you.
Awesome. I was going to say something similar. I was going to say it reminds me of the 80s cartoons where they actually had like kids driving
the action scenes, no? Like,
It's not like a modern cartoon. They're commercials, but you know, kids playing with them, and that's exactly what it reminds me of. It's fantastic.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Great stuff, Nacho. Well done, mate. Well done. Okay, so let's move on then, and let's have Nate's first photo there. Nate, I'm liking that. That is again really dynamic looking. What was your thought process or inspiration for this photo?
So this is actually the first introductory picture that got me into toy photography. My son and I are actually huge Star Wars fans. You know, we've been Star Wars fans for ever, really, since he was just a little guy. And one particular day, I had some extra fireworks, and I took one of his Black Series, and we just had, you know, out. You know, he's older now, so and I'm recently retired from the military, so I was like, well, let me just kind of set this guy up, you know, in such a position, you know, and let me just set these fireworks up, you know, and then I set the camera up, slowed the shutter speed down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And as I did, my son was my fireworks expert, and he kind of like set them off for me. And as he did, I just took a series of very, very fast and then very, very slow. And I took probably, you know, 40, 50 shots.
Wow.
And I came out with several different ones. I've got a couple that are different shades, you know, that actually picked up color. Some are black and white. But this is my personal favorite just because you can see the sparks as they're literally going back over his armor on the other side. So I really liked this one. And after
that looks awesome.
How this one came out, after that, I just started taking pictures with all of his stuff. And then I just started buying a whole bunch of more of my own stuff. And now I have like a battalion of different figures and different types of action figures. And I put them in different scenarios, and I build, larger things in order to take the shots. But that's how that one came to be.
That is quality. I mean, how long did that take you, Nate?
About 5 minutes.
The whole process. 5 minutes.
Well, I mean,
like that, just 5 minutes, but yeah.
Well, the setup was 5 minutes. The actually capturing the shot probably took 45 minutes to an hour. But just putting him in position and everything, it probably took 5 minutes, and then the fireworks, putting them where I wanted and everything to get the burn right.
Yeah.
It took literally about 5 minutes. You can't see it, but there's a metallic plate in front of him on that rock that is literally causing the sparks and everything to go forward towards his position, just to make sure that cascade would actually go over him.
Yeah. So. Honestly, Nate, that does look fantastic. Awesome stuff. Is there anything that you would change though, or do differently for this photo, or are you happy with how it is?
I probably would cut that little bit of grass down just a little bit in front of him.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just to show the rock a little bit more.
Okay.
But again, that was kind of like my first shot at it.
Well, not a bad effort.
Well, I mean, that's why I was like, oh wow, this came out really cool, and that's what got me really excited to jump right in and start to create different.
What did your son say when he saw the final outcome?
He loved it. His favorite guy, really both, I think, was Rex. So I have a series of Captain Rex guys and a bunch of other guys. So
awesome stuff.
Love it.
So what is it about this photo then for you, Josh, that not Josh, bloody hell, sorry, Nate, that stands out for you and to be in your top 5 personal favorites?
Being a military guy, I know it's the smoke and how that looks. I remember times like in training exercises and things like that, you can definitely sit behind objects like that, and you can see the smoke, and then you can try to sit behind that cover to try to look down the line and see what is coming towards you. And I just like that perspective, seeing it from the side like that. That's what really reaches me on it, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely, I get that. And it just, again, it looks like it's out of an episode or a movie or something like that. It is really, really effective. That is so cool. And has anybody else got anything to say about this one?
I think it's
beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's great. I always say, like, I can do very nice Photoshops, whatever, but always is pretty differential when the picture is like real, like the effect is real, the environment is real. There is not fake in the picture, so it's a differential, at least for me. Of course, with the programs we can do a lot of stuff, but that doesn't replace the actual real picture.
I definitely, Photoshop is my friend. I've used it as well. It definitely helps fix things and bring new effects. But this particular one, I just got lucky.
No, absolutely.
I appreciate it.
The composition on it
first, if that was your first time, your first shot, it's some shot. Exactly. It really is. Even just the little trails of smoke coming off, the sparks coming towards the trooper, it looks brilliant.
Oh yeah, it was quite lucky. I mean, it took a lot of shots to get it, but it was my first attempt at toy photography for sure.
Nailed it.
Well, that's
not
a bad effort, to be honest with you.
I appreciate it.
Pretty cool. Okay, right, Mark. I think this is your second one. So yes, so a bit of RoboCop. So what was the inspiration and thought process for this one?
So the inspiration for this one was essentially the scene from the RoboCop movie where Ed 209 is kicking RoboCop's ass basically in the OCP building. So I had recently picked up the Mafex RoboCop figure, and I had the NECA Ed 209. So you know, 6-7 inch scale figures. I took that picture. Where that picture is actually taken is the inside of my fridge in my kitchen. So the corner you're looking at, it's the corner of the fridge at the inside, and I just have a blue LED light is shining up through the glass. So I just stuck a little blue LED light underneath the glass just to give that kind of the blue light. So yeah, the fridge was after getting it clean, so I thought, you know, why not take advantage? So yeah, a bit of a DIY job. So yeah, and look, it was because it's so bright inside, it lights up everything well, and it's easy just to kind of stick the phone in and get a clean shot. So
again, I seeing that now, I just cannot believe that that's inside a fridge. I mean, for goodness sake, I mean, who has that idea of like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to stick a toy in here and take a photograph of it. I mean, the vision and the thought that to actually come up with that and think, yeah, that'll make a good shot. It's just incredible. I'd never think to do something like that. It's just absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, fridge has been the go-to for me for a few shots. It's a good, you know, if you've got a bright white surface and glass, you know, so it works for Star Wars shots. Like if you want to, you know, you've often seen the original trilogy, especially if they're in a really bright white corridor or something like that on the ship. You know, you know, throw a few Black Series figures in there, you got yourself, you know, a deck of a Star Destroyer or something like that. You know, so
absolutely,
yeah. But it worked out well for that shot.
Yeah. Oh, how long did the whole process take, or was it quite a fairly quick one?
There was a bit of toing and froing in this one because I had to move a lot of food out of the fridge, and you know, I've been giving it a bit of a clean anyway. I suppose I was also conscious of the fact that I'm standing at the fridge in the kitchen while my wife is like, "Why are you putting toys in our fridge? And what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this?" So there was a little bit of time pressure to get it wrapped up before the fridge started to defrost. But other than that, it was a simple enough shot to set up, and like I said, just putting the blue LED light just to light it right, and then just get the angle. I just wanted that kind of over the shoulder angle of Ed 209 closing in them. So yeah, probably about maybe 15-16 minutes to get everything set up and done.
That's mad. Is there anything that you would do differently or change for this photo?
No, I think I'm actually pretty happy with this one. I had attempted recreating that scene a couple of other times in the past using different setups and different backgrounds. Like I tried one with you know, a laptop screen in the background and an actual still image from the film and different things. Like I just never get it quite right. And this particular one was a time I felt where I did get it right. So I think for this one, I'm happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, awesome. And what is it about this photo that stands out for you, Mark, to be in your top 5 personal favorites?
I think for me with this one, it's the fact that I'm actually a huge RoboCop fan. Like I just love that first movie, and I just love both of these toys. I love that Mafex RoboCop figure, and I love the NECA Ed 209. So it was just good fun being able to play around with them, and you know, get something that looked the way I wanted it to look. Just any excuse to play with the toys, really.
Awesome stuff. Awesome. I'm so surprised that's in the fridge. That's just quality. Guys, over to you. Anything else you want to add to that?
I was just going to say that that's a brilliant idea to use the fridge. I'm not sure I could get that by my wife, but that's a great idea.
Oh yeah, crazy. It's awesome stuff. Impressive. Okay, so let's crack on. Josh, your second photo. Now I've got to say, I'm loving the moodiness of this, and it's really atmospheric. So a fantastic photo. What was your inspiration for this, my friend?
Well, I wanted to get. I like that Luke Skywalker figure more than the Rise of Skywalker regular. I like this one.
Yeah.
The crate one. And I wanted to get like what kind of adventure did he get into when he looked like that? And so I found a background that worked, and I lit him accordingly. And then I decided to put the rain in, and I thought, well, what would happen when rain hits a lightsaber? So that's when I added the steam coming off of the lightsaber.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Great. Yeah, that is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I've got to say, Josh, that rain really does set it off. That it just looks incredible. So how long did this process take you from start to finish?
I would guess probably 25, 30 minutes.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I've just noticed that steam. I just thought it was the light hue off the lightsaber, but looking at it closely, it is the steam. That is fantastic. So is there anything that you would change on this one, Josh, or do differently? Or are you happy as is?
I think I'm pretty happy with it the way it is. I wish the focus had been done a little better on his face, but the figure itself kind of has a blurry face, so it was tough to get him into focus.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think that kind of adds to it, really. I think if it was, I'm not a big expert on photography and stuff like that, but I think that definitely adds a little bit of atmosphere with the out of focus face slightly. But yeah, again, absolutely awesome, absolutely awesome. What is it about this photo that stands out for you to be in your top 5 personal favorites?
Well, one of the things that I like the fact that he's mostly in darkness with the slight highlights and then the light from his lightsaber.
How you did that effect of the green lightsaber that illuminates also his body in green?
Yeah, like I like the way like he can be mostly in darkness and it just lights up enough of him where you're like, oh, that's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, but how did you get that to light up like that?
Oh, I usually use I shop in all of my lightsaber blades, but I use a practical lighting for each of them from the direction of the lightsaber. I usually try to be very specific about where's the lightsaber coming from and how much light is it throwing. Sometimes I try to keep it bare minimum, but in this one I went a little farther because that is the main source of lighting for him.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that looks absolutely fantastic. Awesome stuff. Okay, Nacho, your second one. What we got here, sir? The Cantina. So
I like this one.
I can imagine what your inspiration was for this one, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What was your inspiration for this one, Nacho?
So of course, I always try. Well, it depends on the picture that I do, but usually I try to also, of course, recreate the scenes from famous movies. In this case, of course, Star Wars. Yeah. So part of my pictures are common scenes from our favorite movies, and some pictures sometimes are like quite of jokes, like a joke about a picture. We have characters, but they are doing a joke, not an actual scene. But here I try to reproduce when they enter to the cantina and Luke tell C-3PO to stay there because they are not allowed to enter the droids. And this one again, all the pictures, most of the action figures, like from Blue Snaggletooth to the right, I have them, are mine. But the ones that are at the left, like the monster, the werewolf, I don't remember the name, the astronaut and the cantina van are taken from the web.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and
wow!
And each picture is from my toys are separated. So Obi-Wan is one picture, Luke and C-3PO is one picture, Hammerhead is one picture, and Han Solo and Greedo are also different pictures.
Wow. So again, it's a whole combination of pictures you've taken to make into one scene. That's
and
you wouldn't think that by looking at it.
Yeah, and the scene is not the scene is a diorama, but a diorama that I took from also a website. I think that I acknowledged the site where I took it in the Instagram when I posted, but it's like a diorama, 3D diorama that is available. I don't know if it's real or if it's a 3D thing, but it looks very nice, and they have different views of the cantina. So I took this one and I put in the play. I try to use also the shadows in a way. You see, for example, the shadow from Obi-Wan in the stairs.
Yeah.
So I see that. Try to use different types of shadows to look it more real.
Awesome. And how long did this process take you?
Yeah, this one probably as the mask one, because there are complexity of different pictures in the same format. Probably it took more than 1 hour and a half. I can tell 2 hours.
Wow. And is there anything that you would do differently or change for this photo, or are you happy with how it is?
I would like to have a better cape from Obi-Wan in a better shape, because it's in my actual figure, and the cape is quite almost broken. But then I would like to have potentially, like, I don't know, the cantina. There are people that they are doing the cantina band, the vintage toys, like they look like vintage, and these ones are not.
Yeah,
so I would like to have that potentially, but I am happy with the result.
Yeah, cool. And what is it about this photo then that stands out for you, Nacho, to be in your top 5 personal favorites?
I like. I mean, any cantina scene that I see, I like it a lot, and it bring me back memories from Star Wars and New Hope, and I don't know. It's special because of the scene that I like. And maybe it's a good opportunity here to show it in a better shape, because when you see it in Instagram in a cell phone, the picture is too small to appreciate like the details of the picture, because they have a lot of characters in one picture, and if you see it small, it's more complicated now.
No, that's so cool. Again, I wouldn't have thought that it would have been. I thought it would have been like all one kind of shot, but you know, like you say, you've taken photographs of different figures and stuff like that and added them in. So that's pretty cool. I'm liking what you're doing there, definitely. Anybody else got anything to ask?
Brilliant technique. Like yourself, Stu, I never would have known that was 3 separate or like, separate pictures, combined into one. And once again, kind of like the mask one, it reminds me of something you would see in an actual advertisement for the toys. It would entice you to want to own those figures. It just looks really cool. I love it.
Isn't the blue Snaggletooth the rare Snaggletooth?
So this blue Snaggletooth, actually, I don't have the original one. This is a series that they did it like recently. I don't remember.
Stan Solo?
Yeah, Stan Solo. So it looks very similar, but I have that one. I don't have actually the original.
I remember I thought the original one was like quite rare.
Yeah.
He's hard to come by. He's very expensive. So you're looking at probably £300 plus or $300 plus for that figure. So, but there's a guy that does customs called Stan Solo, and he does a lot of the vintage figures.
Yeah.
With his customs.
I have that one and Shaq Face from Stan Solo that they are pretty similar.
Awesome.
But it's
My favorite thing about that picture was how you put Hammerhead in the foreground, and it just kind of made everything look more 3D.
Yeah.
Looked nice.
Really good.
Yeah.
It's
like you are inside, seeing from the table with Hammerhead or something like that.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Nate, this one. What was your inspiration, sir?
My wife, predominantly. She and I are huge Lord of the Rings fans.
Okay.
I cannot tell you how many different times we've read the books, talked about the books. We just relate to them in so many different ways. So I couldn't very well get into toy photography without doing some kind of series of Lord of the Rings toys photographies. toy photography. Unfortunately, I've found most of the toys don't actually favor the actors very much. So I've really struggled to kind of find those. This particular Aragon I found was pretty good. The Sam in the back there in the fog, he actually favors very well. And I found a Frodo that favors pretty well, which Sam happens to be her favorite character. So I was good to go with that. So I did a couple of them like this, and this particular one I like the most just because it's kind of that moment when they meet up at the top.
Yeah,
they're all up on top of the mountain, and they're kind of having that fight where the ring race have found the hobbits, and Aragorn
it was called Weathertop, wasn't it? Was it Weathertop?
It was Weathertop. And you can't see it because the fog is a little bit heavy, but Sam is actually leaning over Frodo. Frodo's laying down right there.
Okay.
I have a couple of different versions of it. You can. But this one I like best because the torch, Aragorn's torch, was the brightest on this one. So this is the one I kept.
So cool.
And the rune back there on the column is actually the rune that Gandalf left for them to. Yeah. So, and it was, that was kind of one that I liked the most at that particular series. So.
So how long did this take you to do? I mean, obviously you had to. So you did all the fog and the mist yourself, did you?
I did. Yep. I picked up a fog machine. I found that with the particular one I have has LED lights, so you can kind of change the mood fairly quickly. I thought red would be the best one, but it turned out that the bluish one kind of worked. I 3D printed the statue that's behind Aragorn. There's actually several along in the back, much like there is with Weathertop. So they all kind of work together. And then the little skulls and stuff that are running around in there, those are all 3D prints too.
Wow.
It actually took a while to put this one together. But most of it is foam and plaster.
So when you say a while, like a couple of hours or?
No. This one, the actual scene itself probably took a good 2 or 3 weeks to put together.
Wow.
Yeah, I plan on using it again though. Here, not in a too far distant future for an Indiana Jones type thing. Scene that I want to put together that I just haven't had the opportunity to do yet.
That is incredible. Yeah, that looks so atmospheric. I mean, I'm looking at it and I wouldn't change anything about it, but is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo?
No, I just wish that it were a little more durable, because I have 4 cats and they like to play on it, and I'm going to have to do repairs. but that's about it.
No. Yeah. And what is it about this photo then, Nate, that stands out for you to be part of your top 5 personal favorites?
Really, it's Sam in the background. And the reason the book is my wife and my favorite is because literally Sam is protecting, his partner. That's literally what me and my wife do for each other. So he kind of is at that moment where he's, protecting his partner. So that's what we do for each other. So that's
that is so atmospheric. That is such a quality. Honestly, that's awesome stuff. Is anything you guys want to say about this one?
It's not a real flame on his torch there as well.
Yeah,
it looks real.
Yeah, it's actually wire. I took a matchstick or a matchstick and I carved it down into the shape of a torch. Then I wrapped it with cotton, and then I wrapped it with a piece of like a real thin wire, and then I dipped it and soaked it in cotton, or soaked it in alcohol, and put it in his hand so that when it lit up, the cotton held as much of that alcohol as it could, so that it would stay lit longer than a typical match would. And it worked. It definitely stayed lit longer than a match would, probably maybe 30 seconds, which was
wow,
still pretty quick. It was quicker than I would have liked, but it still worked.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that is absolutely awesome.
I appreciate
this is what I mean before. Is everything real? As always.
Yeah,
I like lot of work there.
That's
great.
Yeah, and I like to do a lot of my stuff in the dark too. I find it, to be honest, it hides the mistakes. You know what I mean? You know, that hides those errors that occur.
But only you would notice those errors. I mean, me looking at that, I wouldn't think that there's anything wrong with any of the photographs that I've seen on display so far tonight. I mean, like I say, that's why I'm asking you and getting you guys to do this, because you're all really good at what you're doing and stuff like that. And I think every one of you is so talented. So for me to look at those photographs, I would not see any mistakes in any of those that I would. Do you know what I mean? And it's I guess that's like that with most people. Only you guys can know, you know, the mistakes and stuff like that. If you haven't said anything, then no one would know. So absolute testament to you guys. I think they're absolutely fantastic photos so far. Really cool stuff. Okay, so up next then we have the third one from Mark, and this is a fun one. So what was the inspiration behind this? And I'm liking the fact that you're using different toy lines in this as well. So that's pretty cool.
Well, this one, from memory, I think this was right in that kind of first month of what would have been the lockdown over here.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was just everybody was cooped up, couldn't go anywhere, but we had just a really nice kind of few weeks of sunny weather. It was just nice and dry and calm outside.
Yeah.
So I was out a lot of days in my spare time, just taking photos of the toys and messing around. And one day I had been playing the old, it's like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's like an old Nintendo game, Turtles in Time. So at one point in the game, there's a level where you're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you're back in time and you're in prehistoric times and you're like fighting foot soldiers on dinosaurs and stuff. So I kind of had this idea in my head of dinosaurs and foot soldiers from playing that game. So the next day, I just kind of went out and started messing around. I tried, I have a T-Rex from Jurassic Park. I tried using that first. It wasn't really working out. So then I decided to switch over to this Spinosaurus, which was another one of the Jurassic World figures. And I just got a bunch of vintage Playmate TMNT foot soldiers, which they're very basic articulation. It's like maybe 5 points of articulation. So I just kind of had to manipulate them in such a way to make it look like they're actually kind of like tossing the ropes, or trying to bring down this dinosaur through kind of collective teamwork or whatever. But it was one of those things. It was just a totally random idea that kind of just came out of happenstance, and it worked out pretty well in the end.
Yeah, no, it's really effective. It does look really cool, and there's I wouldn't have known of that game, so that's where you got the inspiration from. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So how long did this setup take you?
It took a little while because, like I said, the foot soldiers, the articulation isn't great. Like, and they're old figures. It was a little bit breezy as well. So anytime the wind blows, it would knock over figures. And just trying to get like that guy that's like climbing up on the back fin of the dinosaur, like he kept on falling off, and you just keep on trying to get the shot laid out, and one figure would fall over and ruin the whole thing, or then the dinosaur would topple over and ruin the whole thing. But so it did take a little bit of faffing around. I was probably a good half an hour getting everything just to sit still and correct before I could even start taking a few shots. But yeah, we got there in the end.
No, it's awesome stuff. Is there anything that you would do differently or change in this photo?
If I were to redo it, I think I would probably maybe ditch the vintage foot soldiers and use some of my I have like modern NECA ones now that actually have really good articulation. So I could probably get them into a lot more natural poses for, holding ropes and, just being a little bit more realistic. I was kind of, a little bit hamstrung trying to shoot around the limitations of the articulation on the foot soldiers themselves. So to me, looking at it, like if I was critiquing it myself, I would think that some of the poses are a little bit unnatural in it because of the way that the figures are. But
yeah.
So the only way I could really change that would be just to use better figures with better articulation.
Okay, and what is it about this photo then that stands out for you?
I think it kind of stands out for me, probably on a personal level, because where it was in that time in the lockdown, it just felt like I needed to do something. At that point, I think just because I'd been busy with work up until that point, I hadn't been doing any photography in a while, and this kind of represents my kind of return back to doing that. And I kind of never stopped since. Like, I know all that whole global situation is kind of behind us now, but I've still kind of been keeping up with the, just doing regular toy photography again. So it's significant in that reason as well. It kind of got me back in the habit, so to speak.
Oh, cool. Awesome stuff. Anybody else, guys?
I was kind of surprised to learn that the articulation was so limited, because I think you did such a good job making them all look exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
Very dynamic. Yeah. And I would leave it as it is with the vintage ones. I like the vintage ones. I would not put the actual ones. I like this line, so
I love these mixed ones. I think they're great.
Yeah,
they're fun.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised that you have 6 loose foot soldiers in your collection.
And now
the thing that
a few more since then.
The thing I took from that, Mark, is when you said you was in lockdown, so in your spare time you went out and did some photography. I mean, what else were you doing in lockdown? I mean, it's just okay.
Yeah, my time was spent between watching old cartoons, reading old comics, and taking photos of my toys. That's pretty much how I spent lockdown.
That sounds like an awesome lockdown, mate, if I'm honest with you. But there you are. But okay, so let's move on to Josh's third photo, and I'm liking this. Talk us through this one, Josh.
Well, I wanted to do exactly this shot. I had this in mind of the Falcon kind of going out towards the sunsets.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I got the sunsets online, but I photographed the Falcon with the lighting on a plain background. And the engine is actually, that's practical lighting too, but not from the electronics. It's from below.
Right.
I didn't want the electronics. Sometimes you can see the the individual LEDs.
Yeah.
So I just lit the engine from a practical light below it.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a pretty cool effect. I'm liking that. See, I would have thought that was part of the Falcon itself. I thought there was actually lighting on that Vulcan, so that's pretty cool how you've done that. I'm liking that. And how long did this take to do?
It didn't actually take very long. I'm thinking, 25 minutes or so.
Okay, awesome. And is there anything that you would change for this one or do differently, or are you happy as is?
Well, if I had to change anything, like I talked about the practical lighting, if you look all the way to the left on the Falcon right next to the engine, so there's some light spillover from where I lit it. I would have corrected that.
Okay. Oh, well, I mean, again, you know these things. I wouldn't have noticed that, but I'm still liking it.
I don't even know if that would be an error so much, because your engine light's going to flood over a little bit to the left anyway.
Well, that's true.
I like a lot how you play with the lights, as you did with the Luke Skywalker with the lightsaber. I think that's make a difference in the picture.
Pretty cool. Yeah. And what is it, Nate? Bloody hell, get my names wrong. What is it, Josh, about this photo that stands out for you, mate?
To me, it kind of feels like, I don't know that we ever saw anything like this, and I wanted to see it. And I really like the way that it turned out. Like I said, sometimes you have a vision in your head, and you can't recreate it. But This one, all the stars fell into place, and I accidentally got the photo I was looking for.
Well, no, you've done a good job. I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm liking that. Awesome stuff, guys. Anything else?
It's great job.
Great job.
Yeah, you wouldn't even realize. Well, like with the backgrounds, what I've always struggled with using, photo backgrounds. I always find it difficult to make it look like the main object of the photo is actually really there with what's in the background. But the way it is with that Falcon picture, it's like seamless. It looks like it should be there, like it is an actual still from a Star Wars movie or so. It looks really natural. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Right, Nacho, sir. We'll bring your third one up.
Let's see.
Bit of Motu. Yeah. What was your inspiration behind this one, sir?
So I don't do Motu from time to time in terms of the picture, so I wanted to do some of it. I think that actually the box art of the vintage figures and the playsets from Motu are great and very colorful, so I try to replicate something like that, but with the figures.
Yeah.
So actually, these ones are, again, separate pictures, every one of them. All toys that I have, except for the battle ram. So the battle ram, the vehicle is taken from a picture in the website.
Yeah.
And of course, the rocky background and the floor.
Yeah.
And of course the space background. Everything is taken from a website. So I try to make a dynamic scene about Skeletor and him and fighting and the rest of the bad guys watching. And
I've noticed you've got all the bad guys in there. It's just T-Man. But
yeah, exactly. He's alone. I try to have a mix of good colors, so that's what Beastman and more red and Trap Show.
Yeah, definitely a lot of color in there, and I'm liking the purple behind Merman as well. I think that looks quite effective. Again, how long did this whole process take to do? Because I'm guessing roughly about the same time as your others, because of the different figures you got to cut out and stuff like that.
Yeah, this one maybe wasn't maybe 1 hour. I think that the issue with this one was the Castle of Grayskull in terms of the edges. When you have the program do an automatic cut, but sometimes the cut for different more complex shapes, they don't make it right, and you have to like manually do the cut of all the shapes of the in this case of the castle. So for example, the window at the front, I had to do it manually. Maybe the articulation of the Castle Record of the back and the front. In the middle, I have to some spaces I have to cut it also by myself. So it looked nice, but it was a shock cutting it.
Is there anything you would change or do differently for this one?
I think that maybe the Castle of Grayskull inclination is quite like it have to be more standard. I don't know how to say, but like it's not the 100% right position. It should be more standard. I think the castle instead of it's coming too much on the front, like falling. The degree, I mean, the degree of the inclination. The rest I think is fine. I don't know if the battle ram looks great there. Maybe it's unnecessary, but maybe those things.
Okay, no worries. And what is it about this photo that stands out for you, Nacho?
Yeah, I think that I don't have too much Master of the Universe picture, so that's why I pick it up. Maybe it's not again probably the top 5 of Star Wars one, but I want it to be more fair with other toy lines. But I like how I try to reflect a fight in terms of a dynamic situation.
Yeah, it definitely looks very dynamic and very colorful. So awesome stuff.
The colors. Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, anybody else?
I think you really captured the feel of the box artwork that you'd see on a Masters of the Universe. Like on a vintage box, even that space background you have behind the castle and behind Merman, like that's actually the same kind of colors you would see on like even the Origins Castle Grayskull box is a similar kind of background and action sequence. So I think you've really done a great job in kind of capturing that kind of feeling of as if the vintage box art kind of came to life and was immortalized by the actual figures and play sets themselves.
Yeah, I second that. Absolutely awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Okay, moving swiftly on to Nate's third one. Wow. I'm liking this.
Yep. This one, you know, I mean, what can I say? Halo, my son and I love it. It's a great game. We like to play it. So, you know, Master Chief is definitely my favorite character. So I wanted to get a good solid shot. We were up in Georgia. Up in the mountains. I think at least one of my other shots were taken up in the mountains here that we have in the deck. And this one I used smoke for it. And the green just lit it up in such a way that it literally looked like he was on a different planet.
Yeah.
So with that, it just kind of came out perfect. There was some rocks in the background, some elevation, and it all just kind of came together. And I really liked how the colors and the light brought it together.
Again, I'm with you. The smoke and the colors, I just, you know, I do like that green. I think that looks pretty awesome. It's gives it quite an eerie effect, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. You know, I have a couple other ones where they're running and stuff, where he's running and stuff, but it just doesn't look like Master Chief the same way.
Okay, yeah. And how long did this take to set up?
Probably about 30-40 minutes.
Okay. Awesome. And is there anything that you would do differently for this one or change?
Not for this one. You know, this was that 30 or 40 minutes was part of that sequence of the other shots too. This was just the one that I would consider to be like pretty good. You know.
Yeah, pretty good. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what is it about this one then that stands out for you?
I like the way he's looking into the camera, and the way that the bright green smoke just is pouring in from the right to the left, and then it's just kind of coming back and circling around him, and you can kind of see the rocks behind him and up to the left. And then you can see kind of a flat ground that's could be foreign terrain literally right at his feet. You're not really sure where he's at. You're not sure if it's, you know, where, you know, what kind of, whether it's Earth, whether it's another planet, you know, you're not sure where he's at.
Looks pretty atmospheric with that lighting and the smoke, definitely, for sure. Anybody else got anything to say on this one?
Definitely captures the Halo vibe. I was actually trying to remember, maybe Nate can actually remind me about what they're called. It reminds me of the kind of alien homeworld in Halo. You know, there's those kind of creatures that like latch onto you and stuff. And
shoot,
like a big hive or something. I can't remember. They're in Halo 2 and Halo 3, but it really reminds me of their kind of just their kind of areas in the game. And exactly. When you'd enter that environment, there was that kind of hostile alien territory. I think it feels like you've kind of really captured that vibe.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just can't think of their name.
It just escapes. Yeah, the name escapes me. I'll remember tomorrow probably.
Probably. I might look it up.
Awesome stuff. Okay, so we've come to the hour. Are you guys happy to go on? I mean, we've got 2 more each. I'm happy to crack on if you guys are. If you're all good, or you press for time?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good.
Cool. Let's crack on then. Right, Mark, your 4th one. Awesome. Talk us through this one, sir.
So this one, this is just another one of those things where I did this. This is probably this would be 2017. So Alien Covenant was the kind of newest Alien movie that was out at the time, and I had picked up a few of the NECA figures and the NECA kind of creature packs. So this little white kind of chest burster alien came in one of the packs, and it came with a couple of eggs and a face hugger and a few other kind of beasties and bodies from the Alien film. So I decided I wanted to kind of recreate the scene in the movie of the chest burster actually emerging, which is pretty gruesome scene, admittedly, but I'm a weirdo. What can I say? But so I had like from my Predator figures, I had the kind of skin kind of body, for want of a better term, the Jim Hopper figure. So it kind of had an already kind of grotesque kind of appearance. So I essentially just took the little chest buster figure and put it sitting on top of the body, then put a couple of the alien eggs behind it, got a couple of red LED lights, just to give a bit of a red effect, reflecting off the kind of the black eggs. And it kind of turned out the way it did. It just that's how it happened. I know it's fairly kind of gruesome, even by my standards, but it was always just I just don't know. It was kind of one of my favorites.
No, it looks really cool. I'm liking that. And how long did that take for the whole process?
Once I actually got everything in place, it didn't take too long. I think with a lot of these things, and I know maybe the rest of the guys would probably agree. Sometimes your setup doesn't take too long, but you end up taking so many different shots of the same thing. The real amount of time you kind of is eaten up by you actually going through all the shots you've taken and kind of picking out the best ones. I think I just like this one the best because of the shots that I got, just because of how well lit everything turned out, and you could really kind of see the individual kind of even like the rib detail, because that little chest burster figure, like it's tiny. It's like about an inch and a half tall. Like it's a tiny
really
little figure. So
God damn, I wouldn't have thought that.
Or like that's really zoomed in to get that picture. Like and like it's standing in front of an egg that's only about like 3 inches tall. So I was just kind of happy that it actually managed to pick up all the sculpted detail, which NECA do a great job sculpting great detail into a tiny little figure like that. So
that's awesome. I wouldn't have thought it was that. I had no idea it was that small. That's incredible. So, is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo?
For this one, probably not. I was just fairly chuffed. I suppose. Kind of going back to what I was saying there, because I'd taken so many shots of the same thing, essentially, I think by the time I'd settled on the one I liked the best, I was just kind of chuffed as cheese, really. I was happy. And with everything else, I touched it up obviously a little bit afterwards, just to try and make that bloody red gore just a little bit more intense or whatever. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
Awesome. And what is it about this photo that stands out for you, Mark?
It's just, I suppose, even though you might not think it because of the 5 I selected, but you mentioned at the start too, I do tend to take a lot of outdoor photos. So the odd time when I do a good indoor one that I kind of set up and get the lighting right, it sticks out. It definitely, if you were to look at my kind of Instagram feed, and if you're looking at my at my profile or that, it definitely sticks out among the other images. It's not outdoors, it's not Star Wars, it's its own unique gruesome little thing.
No, that's quality. I'm really liking that. Guys, anything else to add?
I can't believe it's 1.5 inches. That's pretty. What lens did you use for that?
I just used whatever's on my my Samsung Galaxy smartphone.
Wow.
It's the only thing I think I could easily kind of get up close enough anyway to get shot. Nearly everything is done on my phone. I don't have a good separate camera, so I use my phone for nearly all my photos.
That's incredible. Unbelievable. Awesome stuff. Okay, Josh. Now talk us through this. What was the inspiration behind this one? And I've got to say, that is, I'm liking that. That is awesome, mate. Absolutely awesome.
So I did a challenge. I did. There was a challenge issued on Instagram, to do an accessories only shot.
Oh, wow.
So I immediately thought of this, of, Darth Maul just abandoned out in the desert. So, as you can see, it's part of his lightsaber and his cape sticking out.
Oh, wow. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So what accessory is that from then, that skull?
It's 3D printed.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. And how long did this take to set up?
I would say the setup was a little bit more because of the sand and then the cleanup afterwards. But
yeah.
This one probably took, 30 minutes.
Wow. And is there anything that you would do differently or change for this photo?
Yeah. If I had more time with the skull, I probably would have cleaned it up a little bit so it wasn't so raggedy.
Okay. Again, looking at it from here, I wouldn't have noticed there's anything untoward about it, or I just think that looks. I think it looks natural. I think that looks absolutely awesome. I'm really liking that shot.
Thank you.
That really is a cool shot. What is it about this photo then that stands out for you?
I just kind of sometimes what I go for is things that I wish I had seen.
Okay.
And since I haven't seen it, I have to do it myself. And once again, this is one of those ones. It could have gone terribly, and I could have said, this isn't going to work. But all the planets aligned, and it worked out for me, and I really like how it turned out.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Really, really liking that one. Guys, anything else you want to add to this?
Great shot.
So you mentioned that's it's a 3D printed skull. Do you do the 3D printing yourself, or is that something you got online?
Yeah, I did it myself.
Wow,
that looks awesome, man. That looks really, really good.
What scale is that?
Okay, so they're different scales, and I did a forced perspective. The lightsaber is from the Disney Parks 7-inch Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
The skull is actually 1/12 scale.
Mm-hmm.
And the cape is actually not a cape at all. It is a scrap of black cloth that I stuck in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So effective. Yeah. So effective. It's incredible. Awesome stuff, Josh. That is that's pretty cool. I'm liking that one. Awesome. Okay, Nacho, on to your fourth one. Now, where have we seen this before, sir? This looks familiar. Yeah, absolutely awesome. Talk us through this one, Nacho.
Yeah, so I wanted to again replicate a nice scene from, in this case, Empire Strikes Back. So this one was easier in a way because I took the picture directly for all the figures above.
Okay.
And then other picture are the two Imperial officers below. And the background is a virtual diorama that is on the website.
Yeah.
So the challenge in here is about doing if you see IG-88 and also Darth Vader, you can see the reflections in the corridor. You see that they are like the mirror, the reflections of them.
Oh, wow.
So of course you can do that with a program, with a Photoshop, but I tried to learn how to do it because I never did it before. So that was most the challenge for the picture itself. The rest was quite standard for me, what I usually do. So I like how Bossk is trying to see below. Like I tried to replicate the scene that the Imperial officers see him above, and he was like intimidating him.
What I like about this one, Nacho, is the fact that it looks so natural and the attention to detail. I mean, now I can't unsee the reflections in the walkway there. And although you've like photoshopped the background and everything else around it, it just looks like a natural photo that it was taken on set. It just, how you do it is incredible to make it look so realistic. It is just fantastic stuff. Fantastic.
Yeah, I can tell it's one of the ones since my Instagram that had most of the likes by far.
Yeah, Absolutely. I can see why. I mean, is there anything that you would change for this one or do differently, or are you happy as is? I mean, I would be happy as hell with that if I did that.
Honestly, no, I like it very much, so I don't. Yeah, I will leave it like this.
Yeah. And what is it about this photo then that stands out for you, Nacho?
I think it's one of my favorites. How it looks like, and it's one of my also the most popular ones that I have in my account.
Yeah.
So, and even if I can show it, I did a book for just myself about the pictures, and it's in the. If you take out the picture, you will see me here in the camera. Yeah, I put it in my book. It's in the front of the book. So,
look at that. Yeah. So let me just get you up on the large screen there, Nacho.
Yeah.
So show that book.
Yeah, I did a book of my pictures. So yeah, like this. It's
awesome stuff.
It's a book of all the pictures, but just from Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I put it in the front of the book, so that's why it's very special. The picture.
Yeah. Awesome. Guys, anything else you want to say on that one? Oh, you've been attacked. Hey.
It's brilliant, Nacho. I absolutely love it. And that's it. I remember actually the book being mentioned on the episode of My Collecting Life you appeared on. I thought that was really cool that you kind of made that collection as well of your pictures.
Yeah, I try to leave something to my kids just for fun.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome. Okay then, right, Nate, you're number 4, and talk us through this, Nate. That just again.
So this one was the other one that was shot up in Georgia in the mountains. Basically, we hiked up into the upper echelon or upper elevations, and I had a backpack with various guys, but I decided to go with just stormtroopers. And you can't see it, but actually you can if you look real close at the front stormtrooper. You can see that he has a tiny rubber band around his waist.
Okay.
That rubber band is actually a dental rubber band that was holding a stick to keep everybody in the standing position while they're actually in moving water, which was very difficult to do because the water was moving quite fast. I took several shots of this, and some of the shots I slowed the shutter speed down, and you could actually see how the water kind of blurs out. Nonetheless, this is the one that I went with. I kind of liked it best. Everybody looked like they were in their own place. They were, heads on a swivel, right, left, looking as they're crossing over. And I just kind of cut out the piece of wood from this front trooper. And just kind of, I really didn't have to do much to it. It really spoke for itself. And
incredible.
That was it. So
incredible. How long did this take then? I mean, it must have been frustrating. I mean, did your troopers get knocked over quite a bit by the water? Or
not once I figured out the dental rubber bands and the sticks. Once I figured that out, they were pretty good. Especially the guy in the back, because I really just kind of nailed him down into the deep depths. But once I figured that out, it was pretty easy, pretty good to go. It took probably maybe an hour.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, maybe an hour to get it, and I did a couple others too. I did short ways up from the stream. From there, I did a Bad Batch shot as well with Crosshair, and it came out really good too. But I went with this one because they just popped off that river.
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, is there anything that you would change or do differently about this one, or are you happy as is?
I would have liked to have got this exact angle with the water blurring a little bit. But I like this one. It's still my favorite, but I would have liked to have had this exact angle with the water just kind of blurring just a little bit, just to see what it looked like,
Yeah.
For no other reason than just to see what it looked like.
No, it's such a cool shot. It looks fantastic, really does. And,
yeah, it's pretty.
And what is it about this photo that stands out for you, Nate?
I like the bubbles as they're coming down, the small little waterfall behind them up on the top left. Yeah. And I like the second stormtrooper, how he's kind of looking off and up to the right.
Yeah.
Because it's a creek bank, so it's they're kind of in an exposed position. So he's actually looking up. And same thing with the guy in the back. He's literally has his rifle sighted up to the high points. So they look like they're like legitimately, moving with caution.
See, little bits of detail like that I would never even think about. And is that because of your military background that you think of things like that? Because I wouldn't have even thought about something like that where they were looking in positioning. It's
what we would refer to as crossing a danger zone.
Okay.
Literally, there's a term like just crossing a street. There's a technique called scroll the road, where it's like one person across at a time while two people hold security. I mean, there's different stuff, and I have a shot of that where they're literally doing scroll the road. And I love stormtroopers because they're so versatile, because you can use them for doing the exact same thing that the military does, and they're essentially the same same type of infantry. They're basically infantry soldiers. So
awesome stuff. So cool. Guys, anything you want to say on this one?
Very cool. It reminds me, it's like something out of Platoon, realistic.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, really awesome. Great stuff. Okay, right. Now we're on to Mark's fifth one. So this is your final photos here, guys. So let's get cracking. And now I know about this one, and I'm still blown away. So Mark, please tell us about this photo.
Well, you saw the one I did that was in my fridge. This one is actually in my old gas oven. So yeah, I had the idea of I just wanted to do a kind of shot of the stormtroopers like discovering an alien hive or what have you. So I originally kind of had it. There was going to be double the amount of troopers and double the amount of xenomorphs, but the space was actually quite cramped. So I ended up removing a lot of the troopers and a lot of the aliens out of the picture, just so you could see the scene a little bit clearer with less characters involved. So yeah, it was an old oven that was in the house I'm living in when we moved in first. It was going to be getting thrown out anyway. And I just thought, while it was sitting out in the garage, I might as well put it to some good use. So I got some blue and red LED lights. They were magnetic, so I stuck them up the top. Just grabbed a few NECA alien warrior figures and the big NECA alien queen and kind of shoved her in the back there. Able then to use the metal elements and stuff at the side to kind of hook aliens onto, so it's like you get the appearance of crawling on walls and stuff like that. And then just scattered a few of the rubber NECA alien eggs about the place and placed a few bewildered looking stormtroopers where they were, and hey presto, aliens and stormtroopers in an oven. But I was essentially going for the Star Wars meets Aliens. The crossover that we thought would probably never happen, but now it might actually happen because it's all owned by Disney. So
true. Yeah. But I mean, I've got to say, I'm still blown away by the fact it's in an oven, and I'm loving the purple lighting as well. I mean, the alien figures look great. The white of the stormtroopers just pop, and it was, it's just a fantastic photo. Really, really cool photo. So, how long did this take to set up?
It took a good while. Probably well over an hour before I was happy with how everything was situated and positioned. Like I was saying, I originally had 8 stormtroopers and 6 aliens and a queen, and then I scaled that down to 4 stormtroopers and 3 aliens and a queen, just because it was just so crowded. I originally wanted just everything to be kind of bigger and that, but you know yourself, there's limitations to what you can see, and I didn't want it to be kind of crowded. I wanted you to be able to see clearly what was going on. So yeah, after the adjustments, the toughest thing was probably getting the aliens just to kind of stay where I wanted them to, especially that guy who's kind of crawling down the wall. He was prone to kind of falling off and knocking everybody else over. But you know, once I got them set up the way I liked, it was just a matter of doing the usual, taking multiple shots, and yeah, the kind of purple effect coming down on top of the queen. That's essentially a mix of a red and a blue LED light mixing together and creating that type of purple ambience. So it just worked out well in that respect.
Yeah, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And is there anything that you would do differently or change for this photo?
I could maybe, well, if I could get that oven back, it's in a skip somewhere in a dump. But if I was ever going to do it again, I would probably try and get a few more aliens actually scaling the walls and climbing. Just on the day itself, I was just getting kind of a bit flustered trying to get everything set up, so I left it how it was. But yeah, if I wouldn't mind just adding maybe a few more aliens to it just to get that kind of real hive scenario.
Awesome. And what is it about this photo that stands out for you, Mark?
I don't know. I've just always it's always been one of my favorites. Like even on my home computer, I've always kind of had it as my desktop background.
Yeah.
I've always, even as a kid as well, when I'd be playing with my own toys, I used to do a lot of mixing and matching of different lines. So I had my my Kenner Powered Force Star Wars and my Kenner Aliens figures, and they were always kind of played with together. So just as kind of that vision come to fruition in my adulthood with just more realistic looking figures. So yeah, that's what kind of sticks out about it for me.
Awesome. Guys, any comments on this one?
I love this shot.
Yeah.
This is a great shot.
Yeah, and I like the mixing the different toy lines, universes, and
it's a great idea.
And the colors look great. Yeah.
You should have kept the oven.
Yeah.
I would like a stormtrooper with the alien in, like the spider alien in their head. Like,
oh yeah.
That would be great.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Okay, so that was your last one, Mark. So we're moving on to Josh's last one. So what have we got here? And now, this looks familiar to me. I've seen that character. Was it from a film called 9?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Tell us about this one, Josh, please.
Well, this was as part of a collab that I did with some other creators where you had to do like around the house, like, you know, Superman punching a can or, you know, something like that. So I thought this was the perfect time to use my 9 figure.
Yeah.
So I thought I wanted him to be reading a book with what he's holding is actually his accessory. It only looks like a replacement headlamp. It's actually just plastic. So I use practical lighting on the book itself.
Yeah.
And you can see where there's a little bit of shadow from the headlight on the book.
Yeah.
Because I had lighting up above to practically light the book. And then I went in and photoshopped the light to be glowing.
Okay. That is so cool. So how long did this process take to set up?
This one probably took a little longer. I would say 40 minutes, just because I wanted to get the lighting just right.
Yeah. Awesome. And is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo?
Yeah, I would definitely get rid of that shadow where you can see the light bulb shadow, because that kind of brings you out of it if you notice it. But I mean, other than that, I really love this shot.
I think it's a cool shot. I think there's definitely a charm about this photo.
It's cool,
Josh, for sure. Really cool. And what is it about this photo then that stands out for you, Josh?
I like the fact that I put the candle in there to be what you think is the lighting, but I'm actually lighting it from further beyond the candle. The candle put out barely any light at all, but I was so happy when it worked. You know, it looks like the candle's doing the lighting. And I was happy when that happened.
No, there's definitely there's a real charm about that photo. That's a really nice looking photo there. So that's an awesome job. Anything you guys want to add to that?
What's the book?
It's my favorite of Josh's so far. I really like it.
Yeah, I think it is mine too.
Awesome.
I don't remember what the book is. It's actually my wife's book. It was the biggest one I found.
So you didn't check what it says in that page.
Yeah.
No, but that's awesome. Great. What a great photo. Awesome stuff. Okay, Nacho. Now, where was the inspiration for this? I'm liking this. There's a lot going on here. A lot going on. Talk us through this one, sir.
Yeah, well, this one is a mix of 3 pictures. One of the actual toys, other one is the real arcade games, and the other one is the background of like the roof of the arcade. So I try to replicate the illumination or the type of colors like you have in an arcade place. So yeah, I try to mix like the things that I like is figures, arcades, gaming. So I like very much this picture. Even I can tell that I have a poster of this picture big in my basement.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I try to reflect also different toy lines that I like a lot. So Masters of the Universe, the Turtles, Star Wars, Masters of the Universe, and Ghostbusters. So
that's cool. That's cool. So how long did this one take?
This one didn't take potentially too much because it was just taking the picture for the picture itself is just take the picture for the guys and then editing the picture maybe an hour. But,
Awesome. And is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo?
I would use the original vintage Skeletor instead of this Origins Skeletor. Yeah. But I think that when I took the picture, now I have another Skeletor, but in that moment I have a Skeletor that it was quite loose on his legs, and that's why I use the Origin one. Other than that, I think that
awesome. And what is it about this photo, Nacho, that stands out for you, mate?
Yeah, I said it before. I think that it resumes like in one picture. One of the coolest thing that I like the game in the arcades and the figures all in one picture. And I think that it gives me like very good memories all together in one shot.
Again, from what? Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I think this is my favorite one of his.
Yeah. Again, it looks so natural. It doesn't look like you've had 3 different photos put together. It looks like it's just one photo. The way you do it is just very natural looking. So really cool. Anybody else got anything to say?
I definitely echo what you're saying, Stu. It's amazed me now with all of Nacho's pictures that I've seen so far how it's actually multiple pictures as combined into one, because it does look like such a natural scene that you wouldn't question what it was you're seeing in front of your eyes. It just looks like it should all be there. I really like it.
Absolutely. Awesome work, Nacho. Great stuff, mate. Great stuff. Okay, so the last one then. Nate, talk us through your last one. Again, wow.
So much like the first photo that came up, Walking Dead, I am also a fan. This, Rick Grimes, obviously, I'm an early Walking Dead fan. I'm not sure where they're going as they are now. And then Carol down the front, she's actually in an open grave.
Oh wow!
They're just the object, I guess, pretty much is to try to cross through and get to the other side. There's just a little bit of smoke in this one, and it is absolute darkness. One thing I would have changed is I have several wooden crosses that are, I would have painted a couple of those, just to kind of make them different colored or kind of age them.
Yeah.
Fun fact knowledge. I think it's the tombstone to the left is actually a 3D print of Eric Draven's from The Crow. His tombstone.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
I just kind of threw that in there because I was a big Crow fan back in the day.
Wow.
And
so
then
how long did this? Sorry, go on, Nate. Sorry,
no. This actually didn't take long at all. I actually have a garden out front that I converted to a sand table.
Okay.
So a lot of my photos that I do at night, I basically conduct them right there. Like I did a big alien scene right there, Alien versus Predator. And I basically just take this one big area and build bunkers for the stormtroopers, build different types of buildings, and then I'll knock it all down and I blow stuff up within that area. It's really quite convenient for me to use that little area of sand, and I literally just filled it up with playbox sand, and I'll, make mountains and set things on fire and do whatever I need to do to make it look good, and then bury it, flip it, start anew the next day. But anyway, this one I just liked because his head just really looked good. His pistol is actually 3D printed because the one that came with him didn't look good, didn't fit right. So I had to get him another one. And the one that Carol has is also 3D printed because the ones.
Is there anything that you would change about this or do differently?
Just the crosses. I would have aged them up a bit. Maybe hit them with some sandpaper or just made them look a bit older.
Yeah.
And then probably throw in, you can't really see them. Actually, you can. I'm sorry. You can see one of them, the cross on the right. If you look in the back, you can actually see the shadowy outline of a zombie coming.
Oh, right. Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I would have added more of those. And I would have brought them in closer so that the camera would have picked them up more clear. That's probably what I would have done to make just a bit more fun.
Okay. And what is it about this one then that stands out for you?
Just the way he's looking so intently at something, as he's trying to again cross an area that's kind of dangerous, and he's moving at a quick giddy up to get to the other side. Meanwhile, his friend is in a semi-safe hole right now, getting ready to move to the next place.
No, it looks really, really cool. Again, another awesome photo. Anybody else got anything to say?
I love all the details that you put into this.
And this one's completely shot in the dark. It was dead of night when I took this one. Just a small little bit of light that was cast on it with the fog machine. Just a tiny little bit to kind of get the details of his, his beard and his eyes and his hands and the glove, on the pistol.
Just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Awesome stuff. Well, there you go. That was the last one. Guys, I've got to say, I'm absolutely blown away by each and every one of you. I just think you're all very different in how you do things, but each and every one of you, you have brought a natural feel to all your pictures that you've done. I'm just gobsmacked. So talented. So thank you so much for taking part and doing this, guys. It's been awesome. And I'm, like I say, people like yourselves that do photography or do customs or music and what have you, I think you're so talented, and I can't praise you guys enough for what you've done with your photos. Absolutely tremendous, each and every one of you. So awesome stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really,
we appreciate you having us on.
No, it's gone on for probably a little bit longer than I was anticipating, but I've got to say I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Nacho, the way you do your art, it looks so natural. Mark, you the way you do your toy mixes and stuff like that, and you can do them outside or you do them in a fridge or an oven. Nate's first time speaking to you and loving your photos. I just think absolutely fantastic. And the same with you, Josh. Just a different variety of photos that you've taken. Every one of them, all of you, just fantastic. So really appreciate you taking part. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
I just say as well, while we're here, this background that's behind our pictures, that's actually a photo of the Bespin freeze chamber which you took, Stu. Is that right?
That's my contribution for tonight. Yeah. So yeah, I did that. And listen, I'm by no means a photographer. Like I say, it's this Bespin set. I've mentioned it before. It's like a one night stand. You kind of you see this fit bird in the pub. You've had a few pints to drink and stuff like that. You take home, fantastic. You wake up next morning, you think that's false advertising. So with all the bells and whistles and the lights, it looks absolutely fantastic. But the next day when the light hits it and stuff like that, you're like, whoa. So yeah, that's my description of that. But listen, guys, I've just got to say thank you once again. It's been an absolute pleasure having each and every one of you on. Really talented guys, and all your social media links, Instagram. You're not on YouTube, are you? Some of you guys, I don't think. No,
I'm not.
No. Okay. Well, I will definitely be leaving all your Instagram links in the description below. And for those of you who haven't seen Mark, Josh, or Nacho in My Collecting Life, I shall also leave the link to their chats in the description below as well. Guys, I just got to say thank you once again. Thank you to all of those of you who've watched. And if you've stayed the course and watched this video, again, thank you so much. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you watching. Take care, stay safe, and we shall see you in the next video. And bye for now. Thank you.
Yeah.